What is knowledge management?
Let's break it down to this: the why, how, and what. That's usually what I make with a lot of my blog posts, and I think it'll be helpful for something as ethereal as this video. Why is knowledge management important? Well, when you're creating a lot of content, for example, in my case, or if you are studying a PhD, whatever your endeavor is in life, your career, your hobbies, the things you want to put out into the world, there's things you need to do in order to organize them to create something. You have your input, and then you can make the output. Creating content for me was one of my major factors, but another one was self-education, self-directed learning. How do I organize my do-it-yourself degree? I started using tools like Airtable, Notion, Obsidian, to start keeping track of my note-taking, my ideas so I can mind dump into it, organizing the templates that I want to use for my content, or even just really aligning myself with my own ikigai, my reason for being. These are all different topics that really fall into this system I created for knowledge management, but this is why I use knowledge management tools.
Now, for you, what is the standout one? Was it the modular degree? What was your main why?
It was twofold. It started off with just this self-education. I wanted to create my own DIY degree. I call it the modular degree now because it's modular. For people who are insatiably curious, like polymaths, your interests are going to change pretty rapidly. You need a tool that can keep up with your modular curiosity, if you will. And so I wanted to create a framework, and I needed tools to support that framework. And so being able to separate into different semesters or sprints or whatever taxonomy you want, you need a tool that can actually handle that level of change. And then the next thing was I had all this different content I wanted to create, whether it was videos and audios or blog posts, or even all three at once. I actually had a series where I made all three pillar types every episode. And that was something that I had to go out of my way to do. So I needed a robust system to keep track of it all, especially when you have a long list of ideas that we're going through right now.
Mm-hmm. So we looked at the why. It was two different things: creating a modular degree and then wanted to create different types of content and tracking that.
So it's modular degree and then content production. That was my why. But for other people, it might be just success in life.
Okay,
If
cool.
you look at every big successful person in the world, Steve Jobs, Leonardo da Vinci, Elon Musk, really, for the most part, they all have some sort of system that's keeping track. Maybe not Elon Musk, but like I know Da Vinci, for example, has his notebooks, and he had all his ideas, all these different plans, all the notes that he took. They were all in his notebooks. And if he had the tools we have now, like Obsidian, he would be unstoppable.
Yeah, you would.
So this is the video on what is knowledge management. How do you go about doing knowledge management? So it kind of breaks down, the way I like to think of it is like an umbrella. Knowledge management is the main piece, but then you have note-taking, you have task management, then you have project management. These all fall under the knowledge moniker. When you're keeping track of your tasks, whether it's learning, so your input, or you're creating, whether it's your journals or public content, that's your output, you have to keep track of the tasks you need. What am I reading this article today, or am I writing this script for a YouTube video tomorrow? These are things you have to keep track. These are tasks that you have to keep track of. When you're creating this system, you need a robust task management system that's holistic across the board. You need project management to understand here are the courses, podcasts, blog posts, audiobooks, whatever learning materials you want for your do-it-yourself degree. You have to have a system that keeps track of them all and organize them by tags or semesters, what have you. Same with the content production. You need to be able to keep track of, is this a video? Is this a blog post? Is it a podcast? Keeping those different databases separate, but also holistic at the same time. These are how you go about doing it. Hold on, note-taking and journaling. So that's the other aspect behind it, is that you have to be able to take notes. You have to be able to write down your ideas and have a list. And more important than that, journaling. So what I've been really working on trying to get better at is the yearly notes, quarterly notes, monthly notes, weekly notes, and daily notes. Daily notes or daily journal is what most people kind of think of when they think of journaling. Every day, writing down what happened to you that day or what you're planning on doing that day and keeping track of that note. Weekly is planning that week ahead of time. What am I doing each day this week? Monthly, I've taken a different approach to it, but essentially it's just planning out your month ahead. What goals do you want to achieve this month? That sort of thing. What projects are you going to be working on? A little bit more broad, a little bit more macro. Quarterly, I focused on alignment with quarter. Are my actions aligned with my virtues, my ikigai, and my 4 pillars? And that's what really knowledge management is all about, is really trying to align yourself towards what your knowledge is going towards. And then finally, your yearly layer is focusing on what happened last year and then what's going on next year. Let's pull up Erica's comment real quick here. So on the quarterly layer of my system that I created for knowledge management, I created this idea called the 4 pillars, which is a modern interpretation of a lot of ancient philosophy. Basically, just to keep it simple, body, mind, spirit, and emotions. These are the 4 areas of your life that you need to account for to make sure you have a healthy life. If your health is in decline because you're sick, your body pillar is going to suffer. Your mind pillar is going to be foggy. This is where you start to learn, which builds your mind pillar, you get that stimuli. You start exercising, take care of your health and your nutrition, you work up the body pillar. You start meditating and looking within, introspection, that's your spirituality pillar. You can also use kind of religion as a pathway to that too for some people. And then finally, the emotions pillar, basically your EQ, your emotional quotient, that is understanding yourself and others. And what I kind of like to add to it is like a gratitude journal as well. I think that helps with your emotions. The what is, you have your note-taking, you have your journals, your task management, your databases, any kind of data you can think of, all your folders on your computer, information architecture. That is what it is. That's all it is. And that's a lot of words. Some people might be hearing this like, what is this guy talking about? Information architecture is how you organize yourself in a digital presence. So we talked about minimalism earlier in this live stream. How I organize myself in real life is I'm minimalist. I have very little things. I have a lot of tech, but I have very little things. And so being able to organize your data, whether that is your personal or private or public, whatever it may be, professional even as well, and having a organized system. That is what knowledge management is. That's it.